Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here in South Africa, we have been having like insane rain for the past long few days. So I decided to take everything outside and spend the day at the beach here in Shark Bay, one of my favorite beaches in Langebaan. So a very warm welcome to everyone here to my channel. If you are new here, consider subscribing below and join my amazing YouTube community where I am talking windsurfing gear, windsurfing destinations, everything windsurfing, and also health and fitness, nutrition and lifestyle. This is going to be a very informal Q&A session. If you haven't seen my previous video on rigging slalom race sails, make sure that you click on this link. I'll put it up here for you, and go and check out that video after you've watched this Q&A. This is all about that content and the amazing questions that I received after creating that video. So if you're hearing very weird sounds, Brandy is like my Bernese mountain dog. He is a massive dog and he's just walking around here and making a noise. So the windsurfing section of my YouTube channel is all based around people who really enjoy windsurfing and who love to do windsurfing for fun, and who also want to push their limits into a more professional level with regards to gear choice, rigging technique, sailing style. So I'm here to give tips to anyone from any level, whether you are a total beginner or seriously into this sport. I really came to notice that there is a massive need out there for more hands-on information. I got quite a few people who told me this is super helpful because that little booklet that you get with the sails is really very limited for information on rigging when you're rigging these race sails for the first time. That is such great feedback because I had to trial and error my way through all of these things to get to a point where I feel that I'm really generating the maximum performance out of these sails. Someone who is a lot taller than me might do something completely different. Someone who windsurfs in a spot where there are no currents, where there are no tides, where there is no chop, where the wind is super light, you would do some things different than me. It really remains a very personal thing, sail rigging. But what my aim was is to show you guys how you go through the process of finding the answers to what will work for you. And I think that is the reason why the sail manufacturers make those manuals so super simple, is because there are so many ways to rig your gear. There is definitely not a specific right or wrong way. So if they had to stipulate a certain method in that booklet, it will still not be right for everyone. The sport has evolutionized so much over the years with regards to the gear, with regards to sailing technique. It changes constantly, and you have to be willing to be flexible in your methods, learn from other people, try new things, because it won't always stay the same. You have to be able to adapt continuously. So what might be applicable now may change completely over the next few years. Obviously in my video I am mainly using my Severne race sails because I'm a team rider for Severne. But a big section of that video has got tips that would not only be helpful for only Severne, but also for any other windsurf sail brand. And yes, of course, I am a promoter for Severne Sails, but I will definitely give you guys a very honest opinion and non-biased information about the brand. There's a big reason why I've only been using Severne race sails and Severne gear ever since I started windsurfing way back. The reason why this is such a big problem is because in full-on race sails you have got such a big luff sleeve, so when your sail drops into the water and you don't get it out immediately, the luff sleeve starts to fill up with a lot of water, and that is really a heavy system to try and pull out of the water, and to even get that sail popped through with your head. Way in the starting time when I first started using the race sails, I really struggled with that because the tides were so strong and it was constantly sucking the sail into the water, and I just couldn't get it out of the water. And it can actually become a dangerous situation because if it's that choppy, you're not necessarily able to uppull the sail to get onto the board and try uppulling. Swim to the top of the mast, hold on the tip of the mast and push the sail up with both your arms or your one arm. If you can just get a slight angle into the sail while keeping it in a more of an upwind position, so that the moment that sail goes at a slightly angle, the water starts flooding out of the luff. So keep it there for a few seconds, and then as the sail becomes lighter and the water has moved out, you'll feel how the wind will just lift that tip up, and then the whole sail will respond in that scenario. So your main mission is first to get the water out of the luff. Do not swim and try to keep on pushing it out of the water from the boom's position. Swim all the way to the top of the mast and try to work it from there. It's a lot more manageable. Forget about the board, let the board drift in the downwind direction. The moment you got that tip out, everything will just happen spontaneously, and the water will flood out, the sail will lift up, and you can just move your way down towards the boom and do a normal water start. One thing that I really don't recommend is trying to push your sail through with your head when that sail is that heavy and it doesn't want to pop through, and you keep on pushing on your head, because there's little fine cushions in your neck vertebra, so you can really damage those. The same goes for when you carry your race sail. Sometimes the wind comes from the weird angle and it presses that sail down onto you, and your whole neck bends forward like that, and it can cause long-term problems. So I really suggest focusing very hard on when you carry the sail, keeping the mast into the wind side and keep the sail floating above your head. When you are heavier and you use a certain stiffness of a fin, you are going to be getting a much more easier lift when railing the board than when you were a lightweight. So that is why I love my fin sponsor for that specifically as well, because Gaswell fins, they make the fins very custom to my weight. So my fins are a little bit more flexible and a little bit softer than the fins that they would make for a guy that's much heavier than me. Because if the more softer your fin is, the easier you will get lift. So it's really important to check your fin, push it and see how soft that fin is for your specific weight. That can have a massive impact on the ease at which you can generate lift. So I think that the biggest mistake they make then is they put in a bigger sized fin, and then that causes more drag. You will lose a lot of speed and you will still struggle to get lift, and when you do get lift you would be out of control because that fin is too big for the kind of wind that is blowing. So rather go for a slightly softer kind of fin that you can use in a smaller size and get much more lift out of it that you need for your weight. When the board starts planing with my front foot in the strap, my board pops up and loses speed before I put my back foot in. What am I doing wrong? So I would say that there's a few things that you can correct in this situation. It's a very common problem, especially when you are starting to learn and getting onto the plane. You are going too much upwind when you are trying to get your feet into the straps and you are not on a high enough speed. When you have got your front foot in the strap, try to turn into a more downwind angle so that you are going with full force in the sail. So there's enough power in your sail with your front foot in the strap. Then try to lean more backwards in that position. Don't stand upright and kick your foot in. Lean a little bit more backwards so that you can get your weight onto the harness, onto the boom, and be at an angle with the sail. Because when you are upright, you will most probably sheet out when trying to get that back foot in, and then you let out a lot of power. Whereas if all the pressure is on the boom in your harness leaning back with your front foot in, there should be no difference in the board's direction or the board's behavior when you just slip your back foot inside of the back strap. And then you can start getting slightly more upwind after you've gained some proper planing speed. Try to enter your gybe from a much more upwind angle so that you can go a lot more downwind when entering the gybe. By doing that, you will definitely be able to go faster in your carve. So the key there is to try to get as much speed possible going into your carve, because the faster you go into your carve, the more that board will be gliding over the chop and not go up and down like this. And in doing so, you've got a lot more momentum. So all that banging will definitely not be affecting you as much as when you lose a lot of speed. The other point definitely is to try and stay as low as possible. Bend your legs, go properly low onto your board, because when you are that low, you've got a lot better balance onto the board and you can control the chop a lot better going into the carve. Then on the exit of the gybe, this is a mistake that I've made many times when I practiced planing gybes, was my exit point was way too much upwind. So I did a perfect carve and everything went well, but then I end up much too upwind, so I stall and then I need to get on the plane again. So it takes some time to learn how to exit on a downwind angle. So the whole gybe motion must almost be, everything must be aimed to go downwind. That is why in a racing situation it's really beneficial to enter that gybe from the upwind side of the buoy, so that you've got so much more power going on the carve, and when going downwind and you've got so much speed and there are people lying there by the buoy mark that you need to dodge, you have got a lot more maneuverability and advantage over them, because you can go exactly where you want to go and exit your gybe in a downwind angle to maintain full speed throughout your gybe. I would definitely say if jibing is a big problem for you and you just can't come right, it would really be worth it if you invest in a Severne Fox board, because those boards are known for how easy they jibe. Since I used my Fox board, my jibing overall has improved, because that board forced me into doing the perfect jibe each and every single time. So the feeling is there, and with my other boards I just apply the same principles. Take a look at my video about the Fox review. It could maybe convince you to get a Fox board, and then you will never be asking any jibing technique questions. I've had a lot of people asking me to do a review about how to rig the NCXs, the turbos and the Severne overdrive sails. I will definitely do a video on the NCXs, how to rig them. When it comes to the turbos and the overdrive sails, those sails are very similar to the full-on race sails. So if you follow my rigging video on the racing sails of Severne, that will be most helpful for you, because they also work with cambers and the same principles applies to them. People tend to blame the fin very easily in the beginning when they spin out on a fin, and they say, oh, this is a shit fin, I'm not going to use this fin. A lot of the times it's actually not the fin's mistake, it is the way that you sail with that fin. Each and every single fin will have its own characteristics, so you naturally learn how to get the most out of it. They are sailing way too much fin heavy, they push so hard on the back foot and they step on that fin, and obviously putting so much pressure on the slalom fin, you are going to spin it out. So especially in the acceleration phase, when you are getting going and you're not on high speed yet, it is very delicate the way you are going to manage your board and put pressure on that fin. So you definitely don't want to stand onto the fin if you aren't on full speed yet. Try to transfer your weight a little bit more to the front so that you're not so heavy onto that fin, and you are helping that fin to get speed in a controllable way. Sometimes you do get fins that are designed in a bad way that will cause a lot of spin outs, but first try to determine if it is not from your side and your sailing style and the mistake you are making that causes this fin to spin out so much. Then secondly, like I said in my Ludert speed sailing rigging video, a fin's optimal performance condition is when you are actually on high speed. Then that fin really kicks in and you can push on that fin and you can generate the most speed out of it. From point A where you are starting to point B where you're on full speed, that is the I would say the section where you really need to be delicate and you need to feel and learn how that fin is going to respond optimally. Some fins are really nervous in that phase, so you need to work it in a different way. You need to transfer your weight in a different way. But when your spinouts occur constantly, when you are actually on a full plane and there is no lack of speed, then it could be because of two reasons. You must double check that your fin is actually completely flush with your board when you inserted it. Sometimes the fin sticks out a little bit and that tiny millimeter could really make a massive difference in the way that fin operates. And then the other reason why you would get spinouts on a full plane, specifically if you're sailing in a place like here in Langebaan, we have got really strong tides. So when it's an outgoing tide and I don't have enough pressure against the fin to work with, I definitely go for one size bigger fin. That's why I said in my video, with an incoming tide I use a 34 with my 6.2 and my 107. With an outgoing tide I go one size up to a 36. Your fin is not going to be the same size for currents that are dead still, currents that are going out, currents that are coming in. So be very careful before you blame the fin and the manufacturer when your fin spins out the whole time. It could be due to a lot of other reasons that are actually in your control. So these are just a few of the questions that I received. I hope this helps, and if this was applicable to you and you find my videos helpful, consider subscribing to my channel, because this is what I'm all about, sharing my advice, talking about topics in the windsurfing world that can have an impact on a lot of wide range of different kind of windsurfers. Stay tuned and thank you for supporting my channel. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying my windsurf content.